Good morning. I'm Brian Mercer, Chair of the Board of Directors for the Foundation for SMFM. Like you, I'm excited about this morning's fellow plenary session and the late-breaking abstracts, which will follow immediately after, so I'll do my best to keep my remarks short. Over the next few minutes, I'd like to tell you about some of the activities of the Foundation for SMFM and our awardees over the past year. First and foremost, I've been impressed and amazed by the persistence of our 14 funded awardees in 2021. Each awardee adapted to difficult circumstances directly related to the pandemic, and each has successfully continued their efforts. In 2021, the Foundation for SMFM also persisted and was committed to fully funding each of our programs where possible. Over the past year, we've awarded and continued funding for 20 scholars, including recipients of funding through the 𝗖𝗎 Memorial Fund, the 𝗖𝗎 𝗪𝗶𝘁 the SMFM 𝗪𝗶𝘁 Award, the Queen and Global Health Scholarships, the Resident Scholars Program, and the SMFM AAOGF Scholar Awards. I'd like to tell you a little bit about each of these. The SMFM AAOGF scholarships provide 3 years of protected research time and funding for researchers committed to a career in academic medicine. The Foundation has funded 29 scholars since 1992, and this year supported Drs. Nan 𝗪𝗁𝗻, Jackie Parchem, Kristen Gerson, and Courtney Townsell. This year, the Scholarly's activity under the directorship of Dr. Sam Perry selected 𝗪𝗨𝗪 𝗪𝗁𝗻 of Yale University to study the role of plasminogen activator inhibitors on endothelial dysfunction in preeclampsia for the next 3 years. With support from the 𝗪𝗶𝘁 Educational Fund, we are able to provide bridge funding to Dr. Jamie Lowe. Dr. Lowe is studying the effects of chronic prenatal THC exposure on amniotic fluid proteomic profiles, placentation, and on the newborn. We anticipate that these studies will generate high-impact publications and results needed for Dr. Lowe to obtain R01 funding in the near future. The 𝗖𝗎 Memorial Fund was initiated by Danny's family, friends, and colleagues at the University of Pennsylvania to provide research support for MFM fellows during their fellowship. This year, the fund was able to support 3 fellows, including Dr. Emily Holthouse at Loyola University, Dr. Natasha Kumar from the University of Pennsylvania, and Dr. Brock Polnisak from Brown University. The Queen and Global Health Program is focused on supporting research and education in global health nationally and internationally. Each year, there are 4 opportunities for funding, including a mentored research fellowship with WHO in Geneva, investigator-initiated research involving low to middle-income countries, a visiting teaching fellowship, and a travel award to pay expenses to present research at our national meeting. Because of the pandemic, the WHO fellowship was on hold this year, but we're continuing to look for future opportunities with WHO and with the CDC. This year, the teaching fellowships were awarded to Drs. 𝗖𝗎 Hamidi and Dr. Lindsay Nguyen, and the travel award was given to Dr. 𝗪𝗓𝗓 𝗪𝗓𝗁𝗪 for his abstract predicting peripartum infection in laboring patient at high risk in Cameroon. This year's 𝗖𝗎 mini sabbatical awardee is Dr. Calvin Lambert of Albert Einstein College, Montefiore Medical Center. Dr. Lambert will focus his efforts on evaluating culturally sensitive approaches to building rapport and therapeutic relationships with patients. Lastly, this year we were excited to reestablish our support of residents seeking a career in maternal-fetal medicine. From a pool of over 60 applicants, the Resident Scholars Committee, under the leadership of Dr. 𝗪𝗁 Cahill, selected 8 new scholars from across the country. This week, our Resident Scholar awardees participated in a virtual program focused on diversity, equity and inclusion, health equity, advocacy, and reproductive rights. Over the next year, each of our awardees will have opportunities to meet virtually and hopefully in person with mentors from across the country. We're proud of our 142 current and past awardees, many of whom are presenting their research at this year's annual meeting. This year, Foundation awardees have co-authored 193 abstracts, including 39 first author and 23 oral presentations. These abstracts make up 1 in 6 of all presented abstracts at the annual meeting. In 2021, the Foundation for SMFM provided over $300,000 in direct support of our 6 competitive programs, and also the Dan O'Keefe Leadership Academy and the first-year Fellow Retreat, which was held live in October of 2021. We could not have accomplished our goals without financial support from many of you. I want to thank the nearly 650 society members who donated over $200,000 in support of our programs this year. Additional support is provided through our annual virtual race for research. This January, over 200 participants on 26 teams have traveled over 14,000 miles and have raised over $44,000. Special thanks to our platinum level sponsor, Sarah Prognostics, for their support and contributions to this effort. I also want to recognize the support of our 22-member corporate council and our 5 members of our corporate council premier group. Our corporate council premier sponsors, including GE Healthcare, 𝗪𝗁 Hologic, Illumina, and Sarah Prognostics. All of these have provided ongoing support through the past year. Thank you also to our dedicated volunteers who've participated on our committees, worked with our corporate council, and provided mentorship to our awardees this year. Finally, I would like to recognize our foundation staff, Linda Wilkinson, Michelle DeVito, and Lolita Hampton, who have steadfastly supported our activities over another tumultuous year. Each year, the Foundation for SMFM recognizes an individual for their outstanding contributions to the Foundation and our awardees. This year, I'm pleased to recognize Dr. Mary Dalton. Mary has been a steadfast supporter of the Foundation for SMFM for decades. As past president of SMFM, Mary chaired the Fellowship Affairs Committee and was program chair of the first and second fellow retreats held in 1994 and 1995. From 2006 through 2013, Mary chaired the SMFM AAOGF Scholarship Committee. And from 2013 through 2020, Mary served as chair of the Board of Trustees for the Foundation. This week, Mary is completing her term as chair of the Foundation's Development Committee. Under her leadership, the corpus of the Foundation has tripled to just under $10 million. On behalf of the Foundation for SMFM, thank you, Mary, for your many years of commitment and support. In closing, thank you again for supporting the Foundation for SMFM. We're so sorry that we haven't been able to see you in person this year, but look forward to celebrating friends, memories, and mentors in person at next year's annual meeting in San Francisco. Well, we're coming up to the time for the Fellows Plenary Session. Take a few minutes to stretch your legs, grab a coffee, and join us in just a few minutes for an exciting morning. Thank you.